need you anymore.
Welcome to another exciting episode from Marvelous Videos. I'm your host, Tia Ayer. Resident Evil Season 2, predictions, theories, and much more. Resident Evil will always exist in some fashion on our planet, just like the sky and the sun. However, did you realize that Netflix's upcoming adaptation is the first live-action series set in this universe, despite all these movies and games? The first season is now available for streaming on Netflix and is topping the Netflix charts for the hottest TV series. So clearly, loads of people are watching what we can safely say is an entertaining show. Let's hope that the upcoming season will delve even further, provided of course that Netflix even greenlights Resident Evil for a second season in the first place. Thanks to a novel timeline twist, there aren't too many clear connections to prior titles beyond the apparent Umbrella links and, the zombies. Do you want to know all about the second season? Well, keep watching. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. How did Season 1 end? Reminiscent of Mila Jovovich movie of the same name, Resident Evil is based on a video game. The Netflix thriller series has actually made a significant and audacious debut and is not in any way a repetition. The series features numerous new characters and unexpected plot surprises for both new and seasoned viewers. Andrew Dabb, who worked on Supernatural as a story editor, producer, and co-showrunner for its fourth and final seasons beginning with Season 5, is the creator of the series. A few years after the Mila Jovovich starring film franchise came to an end, development on the Resident Evil television series was announced. Producer Constantine Film teamed up with Netflix and Moonlighting Films to bring the widely watched survival horror property to the streaming platforms. The first timeline of Resident Evil, which takes place in 2022, follows half-twins Billy and Jade as they struggle to settle into their new home in Fresh Raccoon City, a community that resembles an oasis and is home to experimentations from their father, played by Lance Reddick's Albert Wesker. In the 2036 setting of the second Resident Evil timeline, where 300 million people are refugees worldwide, Ella Balinska's Jade is an adult striving to develop a cure for the T-virus as Umbrella undertakes a worldwide quest for her. The second season ends with a major cliffhanger and a bunch of questions still linger in the minds of viewers. We watch as the siblings finally reunite in the 2036 timeline as we learn that Billy had never left Umbrella with her sister and had instead chosen to stay there, turning into a ruthless killer with no remorse, no shame even when it came to tricking her own twin sister and kidnapping her niece. They have a final showdown where it seems like Jade gets the upper hand, but Billy, who has access to all the Umbrella's weaponry, unleashes a drone attack on the island at large, forcing Jade to retreat. However, in the commotion, Jade's daughter Bay gets separated from her and kidnapped by the woman who is her aunt. Knowing that Billy is a murderous, crazy person to say the least, this does not bode well for Jade and her husband Arjun. We also see in the 2022 timeline as Jade runs off to search for a woman named Ada Wong after things go horribly wrong with Umbrella. Billy bites Evelyn's son Simon, turning him into a Zero, and Evelyn shoots her own son, causing a rift between Billy and Jade because Jade and Simon were quite close. The Umbrella Corporation and Evelyn specifically realizes that Billy was the one who got bit in the break, and unfortunately the two sisters fall apart on that fateful night. So there's clearly a lot that can be done in Season 2, simply from following up at the last episode alone. Is there a second season already in the works? There have been no formal confirmations from Netflix, but Season 2 is likely to materialize. Showrunner Andrew Dabb stated in an interview that the plot for Season 2 of the program is being developed. Netflix will probably order more episodes very soon if enough people watch it. Resident Evil, Infinite Darkness, an original from the same brand, already has a season on Netflix. Thus, it all depends on the viewership of the show's garners. So if you like this series and want to see what comes next, ask your friends and family to watch it too. According to the showrunner Andrew Dabb, the show should have a successful and protracted stream life. In an interview, he stated that he wanted to break his previous record of 15 seasons and is now aiming for at least 20 seasons of this zombie suspense drama. High hopes, eh? If we were to assume that Resident Evil Season 2 is in production, The precise day and hour of release are unknown. Fans might anticipate additional episodes around 2023 or 2024 though. Dab made it quite clear in an interview that they wanted to produce one season every 18 months or so. Let's hope they stick to this timeline because that just means more content for all of us fans. The majority of the following cast members should return for Resident Evil Season 2, assuming the end of the world doesn't occur between now and filming. Ella Balinska and Jade Wesker. Tamara Smart portraying little Jade Wesker. Adeline Rudolph as Billy Wesker. Sienna Agudong playing young Billy Wesker. Paula Nez as Evelyn Marcus, and Ahad Razamir playing Arjun Batra. Last but not least, Lance Reddick, who plays Jade and Billy's father. Albert Wesker should also return. The first 8 episodes of the series were officially picked up by Netflix in 2020. However, owing to the COVID-19 epidemic, its completion and distribution were postponed. It seems unlikely that such an obstacle will hinder the production team in the future, especially if the show is widely watched and becomes a hit with audiences in the next few weeks. All we know about the second season. If you have already binge-watched the first 8 episodes, you probably want more. The plot may have you scratching your head, but any theories you have on the newest iterations of the T-Virus are worth exploring because the first season does not confirm much of anything, really. Here are all the responses to your inquiring minds regarding Resident Evil, simply based on the sheer number of teasers and references to the games that are established during Season 1. If Resident Evil is renewed, the program appears to hopefully only get nerdier in any and all succeeding seasons. The 8th episode first season of Resident Evil included a number of thrilling shocks, and the show's creators have promised to explore one more in the future. Netflix's Resident Evil Season 2 is expected to include one significant video game character. With the program grounded in the game's mythos, this character is none other than Ada Wong. Screen Rant has an exclusive interview with Andrew Drab to analyze the Resident Evil franchise before the series' Netflix debut. Dab spoke specifically about Season 1 finale, in which Jade and Billy are leaving New Raccoon City in a car with the Burt Wesker clone and are carrying a note from their deceased father directing them to Ada Wong. She was informed by the end of the first season that Ada Wong was someone her father wanted her to meet. The Easter egg revealed a whole new world of characters which Season 2 might investigate. Dab said in the interview that Ada would 100% appear in Resident Evil Season 2 when asked if the character would receive more attention. Now, Ada Wong, who first appeared in Resident Evil 2, had swiftly gained popularity among fans and the game series because of her action hero skills, attractive design, and chemistry with legendary protagonist Leon S. Kennedy, despite the fact that she works for Umbrella. She is a spy who originally appeared in Resident Evil 2, where she was tasked with stealing a sample of the G-Virus. Ada was later omitted from an appearance in Resident Evil Village, owing to alleged difficulties determining the character's role in the plot. She later made an appearance as a player character in Resident Evil 4 and received a playable part in the latest Resident Evil 2 remake, played on screen by Le Bingbing in Jovovich's Resident Evil Retribution and Lily Guile in last year's Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City's mid-credit scene. She has also been on the big screen in the franchise adaptations. Despite the fact that Netflix hasn't yet decided whether to continue the program because it just debuted this week, Dab's statement that Ada will feature in a prospective Resident Evil Season 2 is sure to be an exciting tease for fans of the video game series. Given that the show is based on the mythology of the games, it is possible that Ada's arrival will pave the way for Leon to appear in Season 2, either in a flashback involving the two characters or in one of the 2 major timelines. Dab has also stated that recently that he would like to explore characters like Leon Kennedy, Chris Redfield, and Jill Valentine in 2022. He has further said that as the series went on, the tales from the timeline of 2022 and 2036 would intersect. The characters will shift and grow as the story does, becoming new people with new characteristics. The team, according to Dab, has fresh ideas, but there are also legendary Resident Evil characters that they want to integrate into the program. Setting a new backdrop for a Resident Evil storyline is what Season 1 was all about. Thus, they willingly only scratch the surface of the vast Resident Evil lore. The audience is presented with brand new characters, which hopefully everyone will like and love the story that will be built from here as per the showrunner. The question is, what transpires when they run into Character X from the games, though? These legendary characters would be quite old, around 50 in the new series timeline, thus it will be fascinating to see any and all interactions between them and the established protagonists of Season 1. There is a ton of incredibly interesting material to investigate, and Dab, for one, hopes the program continues for a very long time. Thus, as far as the inclusions of key Resident Evil characters are concerned, Dab is sure to bring the heat. That we know for sure. Audiences may currently watch Resident Evil Season 1 on Netflix to catch up because it seems like a second season is highly likely, and Dab and his team are well armed to take it on. Other fan theories and predictions. Should Netflix give them the go-ahead? Dab and his colleagues appear to have no dearth of ideas of incorporating characters from the games into upcoming seasons. But they also set the stage for expanding on the tale of the Wesker sisters. In this episode, titled Revelations, Billy shoots Jade in the stomach during the 2036 plotline, and then flees in a chopper with her daughter Bay, so sure, there are several issues the sisters need to resolve. The way the show is written nearly seems to be engineered to demand a second season, although practically every plotline in the first season ends with an ellipsis in some way. The multiple timelines naturally raise the issue of what the hell happened in between to break the sisters apart so violently. The story in the first season does have a shape, but there is a lot more to the story of the sisters and their bond that is yet to be seen. Another person of interest is Umbrella CEO Evelyn Marcus and what happens to her. There is a lot to take in, and those who are not familiar with the games could be unsure of which characters are original creations and which are drawn directly from the original material. Focusing on a specific figure, viewers are interested in learning more about the series' CEO. So before we get into hypotheses, let's speak about Evelyn Marcus from Resident Evil. She quickly gains a reputation as a brutal leader who doesn't care about how Umbrella's work affects the general public as long as it results in financial success for the business. James Marcus, her late father, hangs over her as he was responsible for the destruction of Raccoon City, despite warnings from Umbrella workers. She is revealed to be married to Diana, and the two have a son named Simon despite the marriage having many problems. But by the end of the season, our opinion of Evelyn has completely changed. The primary worry is that she might be slain in the end by vicious zombies. That brings up the crucial query. At the end of Resident Evil Season 1, is Evelyn actually dead? Audiences won't get the answers they need until the second season, but it's worth putting forth a few intriguing hypotheses. The first possibility is that Evelyn is killed by the zombies, but the camera cuts away before we see the gory details. On the other hand, it is possible that she survived the encounter, which would explain why her death is unknown. We know that Billy is able to escape in a helicopter, so perhaps she came to her aid. She might have intervened swiftly to save Evelyn. After all, if you pull back the curtain at Umbrella, you can see that Billy is in charge. Perhaps because Evelyn serves as something of a puppet for her, she determined that it was best to keep her alive to her own self-serving goals. The Cinemaholic offers an alternative theory. Are there any additional Evelyns back at the lab to replace the one that was allegedly destroyed by zombies? Clones are nothing new in the series, and thus learning that Billy had Evelyn clones created wouldn't be all that shocking. This would imply that the Evelyn who was left in the tent and the one we did get to know in Season 2 had passed away, but people wouldn't be any wiser, since there would be a clone to replace her. If the show gets renewed for Season 2, Evelyn might play a significant role in a variety of plot lines. Thus, it seems like the writers might have been reckless to cut her off so early. It seems quite probable that Evelyn will return, clone or not. Another important fan theory surrounds Jade's young daughter, Bay. If you remember correctly, the mutated crocodile was unleashed by the members of the university at the end of the season to allow their escape from the troops of the Umbrella Corporation. Well, when this mutated croc stumbles upon her, when she had gotten separated from her family and was left alone, wandering on the island, it did not attack her, choosing instead to study her and then move away, almost in a protective manner. This could indicate that Bay was something special. This also could be the reason why Billy chose to take Bay away, separating mother and daughter. A theory which is making the rounds is that Bay's blood or genes could possibly hold the secret to a cure for those infected by the T-virus, since we also learned that while Billy was never turned, she was not immune to the virus. Her immune system simply slowed the virus down. Thus, while she was definitely not a zero herself, she was still decaying and dying, just much slower than the regular human being exposed to the virus. This could mean that she herself was looking for a cure and saw that Bay had the potential to help her find one. It will be interesting to see how Bay reacts to getting kidnapped, and there is likely to be a storyline where Jade embarks upon a quest to save her daughter. There is also the matter of the Wesker clones that need some sort of resolution or closure. In the first season, we found out that Albert Wesker, the twins' father, was a clone of the actual Albert Wesker this entire time. Not only was he one clone, there were also 3 others, including one named Bert, who is seen interacting with the twins, posing to be their father. Clones, as we already know, are no strangers to the Resident Evil universe or the Umbrella Corporation, and thus, something interesting might definitely come out of this cloning situation as well. Further, the 2022 timeline ends at the point the virus is about to cause an outbreak in New Raccoon City. The second season could also follow the impending virus outbreak and how the protagonists survive and escape the Zeros and other perils as civilization as they know it collapses around them. There is a lot of scope of more blood, guts, and gore in the second season as well. And simply as a fan of all of that action, I can't wait to see what Andrew Dabb and his team have in store for us. The reception of the series has been split in opinion. While a majority of the people watching have definitely found that the series is entertaining, they have also voiced their opinions that it is not Resident Evil though. However, with the promise of adding in more Resident Evil themes, characters, and settings, Season 2 seems to be something worth waiting for. While we scour the internet for a fresh Season 2 video snippet or trailer like a ravenous zombie who has lost his legs to rot and decomposition, keep checking back here while we keep looking for it. Do you want a second season of Resident Evil? Let us know in the comments section below. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.